for the midnight cry. Go ye out to meet him, go ye out to meet him. Soon we'll tell this whole world goodbye. Yes, the bridegroom is coming, the bridegroom is coming. Yes, Christ is coming back for me. With a brand new body, a brand new garment, a brand new crown I shall wear. Yes, a brand new name he will give me, and a brand new home over there.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
12 noon.
It's credible and factual. The World at Noon on Nationwide 90 FM.
Good afternoon, I'm Andrew Cannon. In the World at Noon for this Sunday, January 12, 2025, St. Anne community in mourning. 3 children are dead following early morning fire. The Ministry of Education and the Child Protection and Family Services Agency now providing grief counseling in the wake of the tragedy. PNP mourns the loss of former MP and State Minister Harry Douglas. In news from the region, in Trinidad and Tobago, Stuart Young gets full support from PNM MPs as PM designate after internal leadership fight. On the international scene, LA Fire's death toll rises to 16 as officials warn against looting and hotel price hikes. While on the international scene, England beaten in Women's Ashes opener. The details after this.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
The St. Anne community of Colgate Walkerswood has been plunged into mourning following a fire in the early hours of this morning, which claimed the lives of 3 children. Head of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Commissioner Stuart Beckford, spoke with our news centre about the tragedy.
At approximately 2:24 this morning, the Jamaica Fire Brigade received a report from police control of a house fire in the Colgate District, Walkerswood, St. Anne. The caller reported that individuals were trapped inside the burning home. Both the Ocherias and the St. Anne's Bay fire units were immediately dispatched. Upon arrival, the Ocherias team observed a house constructed of log wall, fully involved. Firefighters swiftly got into operation to combat the blaze. The house was occupied by 2 adults and 4 children. At the time of the fire, only the grandmother was at home. She reported that the house had no electricity and was being lit by lamps. She further stated that she awoke during the night to find the room where the children were sleeping engulfed in flames. And despite her best effort, she was only able to rescue a 5-year-old who was actually sharing the same bed with her. Tragically, the remains of the other 3 children were discovered during cooling down operation.
Commissioner Stuart Beckford, head of the Jamaica Fire Brigade. Meanwhile, the Child Protection and Family Services Agency CPFSA and the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information are appealing to parents and guardians to prioritize vigilance in safeguarding children and to adopt fire safety measures at home. This call follows a series of devastating house fires that have claimed the lives of children in recent days. This morning's Walkerswood fire in St. Anne, where a boy and 2 girls tragically lost their lives. That incident was highlighted as an example where increased vigilance is needed. Minister of Education, Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, says grief counseling will be provided at the schools of the deceased and resources are already being mobilized to help the victims.
The heartbreaking loss of these young lives is deeply distressing and serves as a painful reminder of the vulnerabilities children face in cases of emergency. The CPFSA first responders are already en route to the scene of the incident to assess the situation. They will provide on-spot grief counseling for the surviving family members, identify any other children who may now require care, and offer support such as food, clothing, and assistance in replacing essential documents. Our focus now is to ensure that these families have access to the resources they need to begin rebuilding their lives after this devastating loss.
Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Education. Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of the CPFSA, Lord Adams Thomas, says grief counseling has been provided to the mother of the deceased children.
The CPFSA team quickly provided support to the grieving family by referring the child's mother and the surviving sibling to the Ministry of Justice's Victim Services Division for Trauma Counseling. We also referred the family to Food for the Poor to supply them with emergency provisions such as food as well as care items. You know, these tragedies are unimaginable losses that no family should have to endure.
She is warning families to implement safety plans to protect children from fires.
We implore you to be extra vigilant in the care of your children. Never leave them unsupervised or in situations where their safety may be at risk, especially at home. Always ensure that your children are in the care of responsible adults who can protect them and act quickly in emergencies. It is crucial that parents create and implement a home fire safety plan and then rehearse it with their children.
Lord Adams Thomas, a Chief Executive Officer of the CPFSA. Violence producers in St. Andrews Central are being warned that they will be dealt with under the full force of the law. The warning has come from Commanding Officer for the St. Andrews Central Police Division, Acting Senior Superintendent Mark Harris. The St. Andrews Central Police Division launched a number of targeted raids following recent violent incidents. Acting SSP Harris says the police are concerned following an uptick of violent activities.
The last quarter of 2024, we have seen an increase in murders and serious crime in the division. Since the start of 2025, the same thing has continued. We have been appealing and warning men and criminals to put down their guns and stop the mayhem. I am now changing the focus. It's action time in St. Andrews Central Division. It's not business as usual. Let me tell you, it's my second day on the job in this division, and the mode has changed. It's action time. I am not going to tell anyone to put down the guns. We are coming for them. We'll be coming for the guns. And if you decide to put them down, tell us where. Simple. As of today, it's a different ball game in this division, and I hope who have ears to hear will hear.
He says the police are technically equipped to go after criminal elements in the various communities.
The mission is very simple, is to deliver professional and impartial services aimed at protection of life and property, maintenance of law and order, reduction of crime, as also preservation of the peace. And you know, the intelligence arm is allowing us to detect a lot of these issues. That is why I can stand here today and tell you what is happening in the Swallowfield, Nannyville, and Backbush area, and section of Matilda's Corner Police District and the Stadium Police area.
Acting Senior Superintendent Mark Harris, Commanding Officer for the St. Andrews Central Police Division. The People's National Party is mourning the loss of Harry Douglas. In a release on Saturday night, the party noted that Mr. Douglas served as Member of Parliament for St. Mary's South Eastern from 1989 until his retirement in 2007. His career was described by the party as one that improved the lives of his constituents. The party went on to state that Mr. Douglas's tenure was characterized by visionary leadership and tangible achievements. According to the party, among his most notable contributions was the construction of educational institutions such as Anoto Bay High School, Bromley All-Age School, and the St. Mary Technical High School, as well as the repair and upgrading of nearly 30 other schools. These efforts provided thousands of children with access to quality education, ensuring a brighter future for generations to come, according to the party. Meanwhile, the PNP said as Minister of State in the Ministry of Water and Housing, Mr. Douglas worked tirelessly to improve infrastructure and living conditions for Jamaicans, demonstrating a deep commitment to sustainable development and social progress. And the party is also mourning the loss of Emerson Barrett. Mr. Barrett was described as a towering figure in public service, dedicating his life to the people of Jamaica with humility and purpose. They said Mr. Barrett's contributions spanned roles as Councillor, Mayor of Kingston, Member of Parliament for East Rural St. Andrew, Minister of State, and Consul General to Florida. In news from the region, the People's National Movement (PNM) in Trinidad and Tobago leadership race has been settled in favor of Stuart Young, with all 21 MPs supporting him. It's official that Energy Minister Young will succeed Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, and he will also be the party's candidate for political leader ahead. The 9 MPs who initially balked at signing an endorsement letter for Young will sign the document. On the international scene, 4 wildfires are currently burning around Los Angeles. At least 16 people have been killed so far, 11 attributed to the Eaton fire and 5 to the Palisades, while 13 others are missing. People displaced by fires are arriving to hotels and finding room prices higher than advertised, and one estate agent says landlords are asking for huge sums for rentals. Police say they have arrested 2 people who posed as firefighters to loot homes. Officials say they will crack down on robberies and people who overcharge for services. And now to sport. Ash Gardner's fine all-round performance proved the difference as England were beaten by 4 wickets in the first one-day international of the Women's Ashes in Sydney. Gardner took 3 for 19 as England were bowled out for 204 and then scored an unbeaten 42 to lead Australia to victory with 11.1 overs to spare. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at this hour. St. Anne community in mourning. 3 children are dead following early morning fire. The Ministry of Education and the Child Protection and Family Services Agency now providing grief counseling in the wake of the tragedy. PNP mourns the loss of former MP and State Minister Harry Douglas. You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News is next at 5 this afternoon, but stay tuned for the amazing word.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite